Good morning, crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and I'm coming to you today from Guelph, Ontario, Canada. I'm an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm thrilled to share some projects with you on our Global Inspiration Stamp Team Day 2. This is all about retiring ink colors and projects we can make with that. You're going to see my hands through the presentation. This is what I really look like from the Metro Toronto Zoo about a month and a bit ago, where I went with my family for the weekend. Actually, we had a 2-day zoo visit, which was great fun. I hope that you have been enjoying the weekend so far, yesterday's presentations, and then we have another slate of them for you today. I'm going to show you my project, which is a 3D. I love to do treat holders and 3D projects and things like that. So this is what I've come up with. The original design was by Dawn Griffiths, I believe. And I love to make treat holders to give to my class goers when they come to in-person classes. And so these are some I'm actually going to make for my family for Easter, but I think these might be a May one as well for class goers. And that's how it opens up, just with a Velcro dot and some gum inside. Now I made the treat holders ahead of time, and then went out this morning to get something that it would fit in. I knew something was going to fit very easily in here. So I just slipped over this morning to our dollar store called Dollarama and found a couple of types of packages of gum that fit in there, as well as the standard size of Tic Tacs. So I'm just going to tack. This one's a little bit thicker, but it still fits. And I think these will be really enjoyed by folks. So also the regular size Tic Tacs fit in there as well. I'm sure you'll find something. I'm thinking also the Ghirardelli chocolates. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to get my paper trimmer and score out. And what I need first is a piece of cardstock that measures 3 inches by 10 inches. I'm sorry, 3.5 by 10. So I'm going to cut it along the short side at 3.5. This is just a standard piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut 1 inch off because it's 11 inches long and I need 10 inches. But I'm not going to get rid of this piece on the end because I may wish to use this for my greeting, that as I did on this one here where I used the part of the leftover. So I'm going to hang on to that piece. All right, so there's our first piece cut, our cardstock, and we're going to score it in 4 places. I'm going to open this up because I need to get a little bit further along than 6 inches. So I'm going to score it at 2 3/4, and then 3 1/4, then over to 6 3/4. And the final measurement is 7 1/4. So I'll repeat that if you're writing them down. I'm going to score at 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 6 3/4, and 7 1/4. All right, and that's all the scoring we need for this. So we will tuck that aside. I'm going to cut some pattern paper. I'm using the Floral Blossoms. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of it. It's from the annual catalog, and it has all of our beautiful ink colors in it. So let me find it real quick here to give you the name. It is called Florals in Bloom, page 117. Down at the bottom right, page 117. So many gorgeous floral prints to enjoy. So the key when you're using a piece of paper that has an obvious up and down to it with a project specifically like this is it's not square, so you're going to want it to be 2.5 inches long by 3 1/4 inches wide. So I think I'm going to get the most amount of paper from this rather large print pattern from the bottom. So I'm going to cut it off, pardon me, at 3 1/4 inches, because that's the tall measurement. is the wide measurement is 3 1/4, so I'm going to cut it at 2 1/2. Ooh, good catch. So I'm going to cut it at 2 1/2 inches. So if you can envision it being this way. And I need 2 of them, and the other side is going to be 3 1/4, and I want this part to show. So I'm going to flip it upside down and measure it at 3 1/4. So there's one piece, and I need another piece. They don't need to match. I mean, they don't need to be in exactly the same place, but it would just be nice if they were kind of getting the most amount of floral out of it as you can. So, pardon me, another 2 1/2, and then 3 1/4. You could do more layers too. I mean, if you wanted to, you could decorate more sides to it. You could do this side too, if you wanted to. Hey, you know what? Let's just do that. So it's all the same measurement. So we'll go and cut another one. So it was 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. Let's get some other flowers in that are maybe different. So we're showing off more ways to look at the paper. All right, we'll tuck that aside. That is our cutting there. You're also going to want to cut yourself a piece that's a template, which is, it doesn't matter how wide it is, so long as it's wider than the box, and the box is 3 1/2. So as long as it's wider than 3 1/2, that is 3/8 of an inch wide. So I'll tell you why we're going to use that. It's how we're going to put this part together for the glue so that your glue doesn't peek through. So 3 1/2 inches wide by at least 3/8 of an inch wide by at least 3 1/2, 4 inches wide. So like I just took a piece of cut off paper. So that's my little bee template. That's going to help me out. Okay, well, let's get scoring and all that, and then we'll get to decorating, which is the fun part. So we're going to grab our cardstock, and one end has the score line starts at 2 3/4, and the other end, it also starts at 2 3/4, which is kind of handy. So we are going to fold down and down. Get your bone folder out for this as well. Fold down and down again. So we're making that top edge like here. All right, and then we're going to make the bottom edge by folding up in the same way. Okay, and so it tucks over like that. Could it work both ways? Yeah, it could work both ways. All right, so that's what we're going for. Now we're just going to open up. I just wanted to get that going, but you want to know where your bottom is, because that's where we're going to do the cutting. We're going to cut this piece out. So this is from the die from Stylish Shapes, and it's this one here. I keep mine on a ring because I have a magnetic board by my stamp and cut machine, stamp cut and emboss machine, and so I leave the dies that I use all the time up there. So this being the bottom, I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to put one of those pattern papers that I cut down there. So I'm going to keep this one for the front. I think I'll put this one here. And when we're gluing this down, we're going to eventually cut out this part here. So we want to put our glue at the very outside edge of it so that we're able to cut through both layers there. So I'm going to take my liquid glue. This is where liquid glue is your friend, because if you use Stamp and Seal, you may find that it's too wide. So we're going to just go along the edge here, and then the other edges can be a little bit more inward. But that top edge, you want this to be kind of near the top of the cardstock. So we're going to pick this up, and we're going to place it here. All right, just like that, with a nice even border all the way around. Now we're going to cut out our little pocket hole. This is where the template comes in place. So I put the 3/8 of an inch template up flush with the top, and then my idea was to stick this up against the template, and then that way I know that I am getting and not leaving enough space for my tear and tape to go across there. You with me so far? So I'm going to grab my tape. You can use, actually I can just use these little sticky notes, or you can use any fancy tape you want, or washi tape or something. So I'm going to stick that flush up there, and then I'm going to stick my die here, try and center it best I can. I'm going to run this over and this piece over, use these pieces up, pull my template out, and then I'm going to grab my small Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the little mini, because this will work just fine for what I want to do. So I think it fits exactly through. It is exactly 3.5 inches. So stick that on there, grab the top plate, and tuck it in. I'm just making sure it's straight so it won't crinkle the paper on either side. Sorry, the camera's going to make a little jump here. So I'm going to push it through. It's a bit tight. There we go. And then we'll just pull it back through. And then we'll move it off. There we go. I'm not standing up, which I normally would do. Okay, we've gone through 2 layers of paper. We've gone through our cardstock and our designer series paper. I'm going to pull these bits off. And you've got leftovers to use on this or another project. 2 little tabs, but I use something different. So, all right, so there we go. And now we know we have enough space by using our little wee template to put some tear and tape along here. So I'm going to grab my tear and tape, and I'm just going to put it down here while we're thinking about it. And then it's not going to peek through where my die is. So we're going for a flush bottom, and then we're going to push that up there, but we're going to do a little decorating before that. So this is the front. We'll put one of these pattern papers on the front. And do you make treat holders? Let me know if you like to make treat holders or 3D projects and things too. Find out if we're on the same wavelength. But I do love to do them for family, for coworkers, for whomever I come across. In fact, this morning when I was at Dollarama picking out the treats to put inside, I came up to the cash and I had I had this one right in my hand, and because I was measuring it in the store, and the cashier said to me, "Oh, what is that?" And I said, "Oh, it's something I'm demonstrating with some friends today on a Facebook page to show them how to make these cute little treat holders." "Oh, I like that." So I had to get her information so that I could share it with her for another time. So you never know who you give it to and who you're going to find who's interested in it. All right, so there's that part, and then we were going to put this in the top here as well. And then we're going to do a little stamping to add a little critter to this. Now the first 2 I used the cute as a bug, sweet as a bug, no, sweet bugs, oh my goodness, sweet bugs bundle. But this one I'm using a brand new stamp set to me, which I don't have the dies and they're on back order, but I got the stamp set anyway. And I'm going to use this cute little cutest crew, the little birds to decorate with. So I'm going to grab, this is a brand new stamp set, and that's our new packaging. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure everybody has. This is our new packaging for stamp sets. So it takes a whole lot less space. Some people are tearing the thin backing sheet off, inking this up, and either stamping it here or stamping it on another piece of paper, and then that way you can put this back on and put it in there, and then you'd know exactly where all the stamps are. I'm not going to do that on mine. I just find that's a few extra steps, and I'm just happy with this. But I will share a tip with you. You want to put the covering back on because these are still pretty sticky until they're well used. And if you close this up and put it in its little sleeve and they push together with other stamp sets, what you might find is that the stickiness will tear a bit on this side of the paper. So I did learn my lesson, if you will, to go ahead and put that little sheet back on, and that helps keep them from sticking to the back side of the paper. All right, here we go. Let's get some ink. We need some Memento ink because we're going to color this in. Cool news about some new ink pads coming that will make that whole process easier, so stay tuned for that information. I have a small piece here, 2 1/4 by 1 3/8, it appears. I think it's going to be perfect for this, and I can either cut them out or not cut them out. But we will get started by stamping them. These cute little birds. When I was out for my walk this morning, oh boy, could I ever hear the birds. I saw the grackles and cardinal, and heard a woodpecker. This is just in the city. Like, I live in a small city. Well, it's not that small, but I live in a very urban area. But there was woodpeckers out, and there were robins, of course. The grackles were everywhere, and so it was a busy place, and so it got me thinking about these cute little birds. I'm just going to put this down to protect my space a bit, and I've got some of my Stampin' Blends. For the grass, I was going to use Granny Apple Green, and I will just add a little bit to the grass, just like that. Nothing fancy. And then I will color in the birds. This is Bubble Bath, but I want to use Petunia Pop. So there's light Petunia Pop. Is it light? Yes, it is. So I don't know if you find this too, but I find with our Stampin' Blends that you actually get 4 colors out of 2 markers, because the bullet end tip is a little bit different shade than the others, and I think that's really kind of cool because you get extra extra colors and tones of color to work with. I like the Stampin' Blends. I love them for coloring. Everything goes on smoothly. You don't have any streaky lines. I'm going to grab another color too for so let's use this one. This is the brush tip of Dark Bubble Bath. I'm gonna get a yellow one for the beaks, or yellow or orange or something. Maybe Peach Pie, that would be a good one. Then to add something here, I'm gonna add Petunia Pop to the tail feathers for this guy. There we go, and then we'll grab Peach Pie. That's dark, and that's light. I'm gonna use the light one for the beak. If I go light, and if it's too light, then I can always add more depth of color. Okay, oh, they're so cute. All right, let's tuck those guys aside, and then this is going to go on the front. There's the Petunia Pop and the Bubble Bath in that paper, and the green is Granny Apple Green, and there's Garden Green down here, so that's kind of cute. But I'm going to cut around it because I think there's a little too much white space there. So you can punch, you can cut by hand, and you've probably seen this before, but I just keep moving the paper. I don't actually move the scissors all that much. I mean, a little bit, but mostly I'm moving the paper, and I'm keeping the flow going as much as possible of the scissors, so I don't get lots of sharp edges cutting out. Now, it's not perfect, but I do find if you leave a little wee white border, I should make this so you can see better, then it looks better. If you try to go right up against the color of the ink, you'll never be straight, and it'll look a little bit choppy. So leave a little bit of a white border all the way around, and come back down here and around. There we go. And then that's nicely cut out when you don't have the die, and when you're waiting for the dies to come, right? Okay, so then this is going to pop up here, and I've got a greeting. I could use the ones from Cutest Crew, but I'm really liking banner sayings, and I like the, because I'm going to use these for class things. Birthday's not really where I'm going. I'm going to use either here's to you, sending my love. I like sending my love. So this is where I did take some of these, and this whole set, and I stamped it right on here. I found that the ink was a bit slippery on there, so I'm just keeping it in 2 little plastic pieces going forward. Got to try different things, right? So where is it? Sending my love. And I just need a little bit of white ink, a white scrap of white, which of course everyone has millions of kicking around. Here we go, and we're going to use Petunia Pop. Oh, right, I was going to do this. Oh, oopsie-daisy. I was going to reuse this piece, that's right. So I could use either the one that I had cut out from this part, or I'm going to keep that for something else. Or I can actually use this banner and do one of the flat-edged ones. So I don't think I'll use Petunia Pop now because it won't be dark enough on Petunia Pop paper. So we will go with black and just put it on this scrap piece. And then this is the 3 banner punch, going with banner sayings stamp set. And I do like these 2 that have a flat edge. Here's better to, oh no, it's better to show this way. Flat edge and flat edge. And this has a cut in, or this has a outside cut. So if I want this one, I'll just turn it this way. And once I see it in the punch, like that, give it a squeeze. And there's my label for this. Take those away. And then we will, I'm going to glue this down, but I'm going to pop up my little guys here. A couple of dimensionals. I'm going to be popping on after the video is complete and checking for comments. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you learned something. Hope you find it inspirational to go ahead and make your own 3D projects. I think this is cute enough to definitely give away at my classes. I bet my ladies would love it. All right, sending my love. Also, I think it's perfect for everybody for Easter dinner. Now, when you want to glue this down, this is the last tricky part. You're going to peel this off, and I'm going to suggest that you make this nice and flat so that you have a flat bottom. So you want to try to get this edge here nice and flat. So I'm not sure you'll be able to see it quite as easily, but there we go. It's flat, and then it's even left to right. That's the only tricky part here. And then I'm going to press that down. And there we go. And then we got some of these cute little Velcro dots. I put them together, and then I use them on my project, because I find if I try to put one here and put one here, they're not going to line up. And then we're going to put the Tic Tacs in, because it is a little bit easier if it's already in there in order for this to go and seal up. It just makes it a little bit easier. That's a bit tight with the Tic Tacs, but that's okay. And then I'll put this in the top, center, a little below the line. And then again, we're going to go for a straight edge on this. They're just a little bit thicker. Okay, there we go. All right, and then you can add ribbon or whatever else you like to finish them off. So this is it for me. I do hope you enjoyed this project, and we'll give it a try. And let's see, there we go. And I will post the picture in the group for you to see. And remember to place an order with the demonstrator who invited you to the event so that you can get our PDF of all the projects showing all the different supplies that we used and some of the paper measurements and such to help you make these yourself, plus links to the videos. The videos on Facebook only stay on there for about 30 days. So what we've been doing is uploading our videos to our YouTube channels and putting those links in, and then they'll stay there as long as our YouTube channels have the videos available. All right, thank you again for watching. Enjoy this wonderful day of inspiration and have fun. We'll see you next time. Bye.